we'll talk about Balogun here, but he actually had a bit of a soundbite after scoring his first goal for the U.S. men's national team. So, producer Des, let's roll that clip, please.
Take time to build relationships with my teammates, but I don't doubt myself. I mean, I saw Jay with the ball. I know his quality, and I just made a short run in behind. It was a great slide pass, and then I was just able to do what I normally do. And I mean, yeah, I'm just delighted that it helped us to be able to win this game today.
And I'm delighted that you scored, Balo, because you're an excellent player, and I think the movements that you're making make a big difference. Now, I did see a comment there from Spicy Pineapple about Balogun and his movement in the attacking third. I think there's a couple things at play here. One, we had more attacking players on the field, Heath, right? We have Gio Reyna playing centrally. I think that is something we've been clamoring for a very long time on this podcast, and I think you mentioned that yesterday on the post-game show. And I wonder if BJ Callahan actually listens to the pod at times. But there's also something funny about BJ Callahan, right? He was the interim to the interim after Anthony Hudson left.
By the way, Jimmy, hold on. They're welcome.
No, go ahead.
Okay,
go ahead.
I met BJ in a coffee shop months ago.
You did.
And now here we are, champions of the Nations League. You tell me what else we need to do. We've done everything.
We've
done Balogun. We did Balogun. Okay. We won. You just won the Nations League because of my coffee meeting with BJ.
We definitely recruited Balogun. We were on that. Like, that was one of the purposes.
We did one thing before that as well, but I can't remember what it is.
You know what?
I mean,
we deserve more credit than I think
we're also humble. But we're also humble. So
very humble. Chuck being the most humble of all of us. But I think what's interesting is if you're the second assistant, you have ideas as a coach, right? Even though, you obviously have to be beholden to the top assistant and of course to the head coach, and you have your role within that coaching staff, but you still have your own ideas. Now, I know BJ Callahan has never been the head coach of anything at any point in his life or whatever, but he's not too far removed from that and that responsibility and talking to players and knowing how to get the most out of them. He's so close to that. So there wasn't like that big of a jump in my humble opinion, but he had ideas. And I think some of the ideas, he had this opportunity now to be like, I'm going to just play more attacking players. I'm going to put Gio Reyna central. And maybe that's something he always wanted to do, but never had the courage to tell Greg, or Greg was like, no, this isn't the time. If he did have the courage to say something and Greg was like, no, I'm feeling MMA in midfield instead, or whatever it may be. And I actually think you made a good point the other day that maybe MMA is dead. That might not be the way for us moving forward because we need that extra attacking player.
At times. I don't want to say unilaterally.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah, okay, that's fair. You don't want to say it unilaterally. But what I would add is, what I really loved about this particular group of players, when you have more attacking players on the field and attack-minded players, you have Dest and Anthony Robinson and Scally, whoever's out there, they're looking to play forward. They're looking to take their first touch forward. Everything is trying to get into that space, and they're very good at breaking down players 1v1. So when you get enough of a creative space, we'll take Gio Reyna's assist to Balo. He finds himself in a good spot by attacking that first touch he takes into the space, and nobody steps to him. That's it. They're dead. Canada was dead at that point. Balogun obviously makes a very smart run and has a great finish. But we needed more of that. We saw it against Mexico. We saw it replicated against Canada. And this is a Canada team that I have a lot of respect for. They have an identity. They have confidence. They know who they are and what they're about. And yet they still struggled with us in those pockets of space. And I thought that was tremendous. Now we're going to run into an opponent that knows how to stop that stuff. And now we're going to have to adjust. And that's going to be that next evolution for the team. Can we solve that in real time and not have to wait till halftime or after the game to be like, well, next time we'll try to unlock it? Can our players figure it out in real time? And I think we have the talent to do that.
Yeah, the team and quite frankly, Greg, right? I think there was I think, and I said this yesterday for everybody mentioned, I'd be looking at these games and saying, look, this is how the team is capable of playing. You can take this risk. And now we never had a Balogun before. And so we struggled to get the ball to our strikers. Balogun knows when to track back, when to get his touches, but those little darting runs, putting Gio Reyna in a spot where, if you watch him play at Dortmund for the last couple of years, is always better when he's in combination play, right? When he is running at defenders and people are spinning off.
What's interesting, I'm going to cut you off. What's interesting is that's what we loved about Ricardo Pepi, right? Or you in particular. Like he looks to combine. The combination play is what he's looking for. But it just feels a little bit different with Balogun in there, and it's interesting that the fine margins between individuals and what they bring in their attributes.
Balogun's change of pace in tight areas, that explosive 2-3 steps on a little diagonal run, right? To just slow, go, and to have a player like Gio Reyna that if you just watch that ball back again, the ability to be on the run, and Sergiño Dest played the same one against Mexico, to play a weighted ball that's going to eliminate defenders, but die in the run of a player is unbelievable, right? It is not, that is not a skill set that you just see or whatever. It is a world-class capability to be able to do that. And we've seen Gio do that consistently when he gets minutes and when he's not injured and whatever at Dortmund. And to have him in a spot where he's able to do that, and then a striker who can make those runs. I think Pepe brings other players into the game. I think his hold-up play is good. I think he's active, but that 3-4 steps when you're playing against a low block, even those little darting runs that pull defenders in and out of places, we haven't had that before. And I think Balogun just brings another level of that.
And also, there's just something about, you've been around it, where if you're around a player that has a certain level of quality, I don't know how to explain it other than you just marvel at it. You just like, I know what I can do and what I can give to this particular player in terms of service, especially an attacking player, and what he can do with that service. Even like, when you play somebody a ball, I mean, I had a chance to play with John O'Brien. I'll use John O'Brien as an example. Unbelievable, right? With his feet, either side. I could fire him a ball at his shin and he'd be like, no problem. He'd be like, it's like he's smoking a cigarette, It's just, he brings it down. No. And then he makes he's got 3 options and he makes the right pass out of that situation. And when you're around players that have that type of quality, it changes how you look at the game and how you think you're going to attack. Now, I think that Ricardo, in fairness to Ricardo Pepi, I think he has it. I just think that Balogun has it more consistently. You're going to see it from him more consistently than you would with maybe some of our other younger players who are talented, but are they showing that on a consistent level? And I think that's what Balogun has in spades at the moment. And then you got confidence, man. Confidence is a hell of a drug. And I think that we played on the front foot. That's another thing I wanted to bring up. I had it written down in my notes. What I loved over these 180 minutes against our 2 top rivals in CONCACAF is that we played on the front foot the whole time. And even when we didn't have the ball, it didn't really feel like we were threatened. Did Canada have 1 or 2 looks? Sure. Did Mexico? Not as much.
They had a few in the second half, but we were up 2-0, and that's the way it kind of
sure.
goes. You got to just hold on. But they had a few decent, really decent.
But yeah, overall though, I didn't feel like I wasn't sweating it, right? I was never nervous watching these 2 games. And so that's a great sign. And so I'm excited.